Today on Adversity Strength, I'm joined by Annette Finn. At just 16 years old, Annette's life changed in an instant when a drunk driver crashed into the car she was traveling in, leaving her critically injured and fighting for her life. Doctors told her family she may not survive, yet she did. And what followed were decades of healing, resilience, and rebuilding after trauma. Today, Annette is a therapist, transformational speaker, and author who uses her lived experience to support others through their darkest moments. This is a powerful conversation about survival, scars, faith, and finding purpose after life altering adversity. Annette, it's absolutely great to have you on the podcast.
Oh, great to see you, Lee. How are you?
I'm all good, thanks.
Fabulous. Great.
Let's back to the beginning. Where did your journey start? Because it's been an eventful one.
Yeah. So basically, I was 16 years old and I just had left school and basically come from a religious background. And my dad would never allow me to go out or do anything like that. So by the age of 16, I was very much kind of like, I'm going to be rebellious. They called me rebellious at 16. And I thought, so, okay, then if I'm rebellious, I'm going to go to all the clubs, everywhere I can go, because we were going to church from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Bible study on a Wednesday. So it was kind of like, well, I don't really want to go, but we had no choice. I've got five siblings. I'm the last child, and my mum used to call me the last belly bun. And basically, she and my dad always used to say to me, you have to go to church. And so when I got to 16, I made the conscious decision that's what I didn't want to do anymore. I wanted to be with my friends. And when they called me rebellious, I said, well, how can I be rebellious? Like, I just want to be with my friends. Is that not a normal thing for a child of age 16? So we were celebrating leaving school. And one of my friends said, would you like to go out? And I said, yeah, I'd really love to go out. And we can just like party all night. And then my brother said, well, why don't you come to the same party with one of my friends? So I decided that, yeah, I really like to go. Then my friend goes, oh, no, I'm not really wanting to go now. Can we just go, just us two? And I wanted to go to the bigger party. So we basically just like said, right, okay, we're gonna go to this party and everything's gonna be like well and happy. And one of my sisters said to me, are you sure you want to go? And I said, what do you mean? So I'm just thinking you should go today. And I said, well, no, I really want to go out. I thought, you're not going to stop me. All the time I've been stopped growing up. And as a child, I couldn't do this, couldn't go out here, couldn't celebrate different things that I wanted to. And being 16, just left school, this is what I wanted to do. And then my friend goes, oh, I'm really tired now. I don't really want to go out. And I kept on plumping her and pressuring her, say, come on, let's just go out, have a great time. So my brother left to go out to town to meet all his friends because we were going to meet at a location. And I said to my other sister, where are you going tonight? She goes, oh, I'm going out with my friends. And then two of my other siblings, one of them, and which said, don't go out, they stayed in with my mum and they were watching television. And I said, right, well, I'm going to go. My dad said, well, no, you're not going. And I said, well, I am because I'm 16. I could do what I like. And he goes, really? Okay. So I was really quite terrified. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually standing up for myself for once. I basically got ready and my friend got ready and we were so excited. So we left the house and we went towards Watford, where we live. And as we came around one mini roundabout, we were singing in the car, laughing and everything. And then we got to the second roundabout, and there was a transit van coming at about maybe 60, 70 miles an hour, really fast. There was nowhere for us to go. I thought it was going to be a head on. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I had no time to do absolutely anything. All I did was lean to the side because I thought, he's going to hit me head on, then it's going to go right into me. I'm going to die instantly. So I thought about all of that and I thought, prior to this, my life has been loads of ups and downs, loads of stretching, loads of unpredictable moments where I felt so lost and everything. I thought, I'm going to die in this accident. My life came before me and I was quite terrified. I thought, oh my gosh. And I remembered what my sister said, don't think you should have gone out tonight. And as I looked, the transit van was still coming towards me and they smashed down the side of our vehicle. And I looked at my friend, it was on her side. I looked at my friend, and as the smash happened, all I saw was steam. And I thought it was going to go on fire, in fact. And I looked at her to the right and I said to my friend, are you okay? Are you there? And all I saw was blood all down her face and everything. It was a shocking moment and I couldn't even think. And so when I looked at her, I couldn't hear absolutely anything. I think it was a shock. She may have been speaking to me, but I couldn't hear her, but she wasn't moving. So I thought, oh my gosh, let me try and get out the car. It was a Datsun Cherry, which is an old car. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I thought, right, let me just try and open the door because it looks like it's going to catch on fire. And everyone's going, get out of the car. There were so many people, all passerbys, looking at the situation, seeing me in the vehicle. I said, come on, like, come on, get out of the car quickly. It's going to go on fire. So I tried to push the door. And as I pushed the door, the impact of the glass, I heard a little noise and it just flew into my face,
Yeah.
cutting me from every angle of my face. And at that moment, I said, that's it. My life is over because I could actually feel the glass cutting every avenue of my face down to my neck, on my eye, where my contact lens broke in my eyes, and then I couldn't see anything. Mm.
It sounds like so. I mean, it just picturing it, just it sounds terrible, so scary.
Yeah.
So you tried to open the door, and the
Yes.
impact of the glass just and that just shattered.
Yeah, it shattered and then it went into my face, and I just thought, "I just need to get out of here." And at that moment, I had my seatbelt on, and the seatbelt is actually what caused me more harm because I had like a
Yeah,
burn from the seatbelt,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it was
yeah,
actually choking me, and I couldn't get out of the seatbelt because it was locked.
yeah, yeah.
Don't know what happened because it was maybe an old car. I think it was locked. And I was like, right, I need to get out. Couldn't breathe or anything. I just hyperventilated and I just couldn't breathe. Just get me out of here. I managed to open the door. The glass was everywhere. And somebody just dragged me out of the car. And I was hoping that I could get around and open the door for my friend to get her out. I didn't even think about myself. You know, I remember saying, they say, put your own oxygen mask on before you help anybody else. But I just wanted to help my friend get out of that vehicle. And so as I got out to the left, they just dragged me out and my blood was profusely coming out, blood all over the clothes that my sister
Oh,
said, bring back. Don't forget to bring my clothes back because I borrowed her clothes. And she said, make sure you bring my clothes back if you're going to go out tonight. And they were covered in blood.
the whole scene just sounds terrible. And
Yeah.
so by then, had somebody called like ambulance and
Yeah, so basically what happened was, my dad was at work, he was a nurse, and he was not far off from where the accident happened, and he could hear the sirens, and he basically says, "Oh, somebody's in danger. Something's really happened. Something's really bad's happened," not knowing it's his actual daughter
yeah,
that's been in, a car accident. And as I said, my brother had already gone out, and in them days, because it was 30 years ago, in 1991. In them days, they used to have the walkie-talkies and they would call all help to come to a location. Please get to that location. Well, my brother was ironically was in town and he heard that and he said, get to a certain place. And it was the name of our road. So he quickly ran, he heard it and he quickly ran home and he couldn't get no answer. He rang a few people, he couldn't get any answer. He knew something was up. So with that, he ran all the way home. In fact, my brother is a runner, he used to run for England in the 800 meters.
you got there quickly
He
then.
got there really quick. He got there really quick and he ran all the way home knowing that something wasn't right on that
Yeah,
specific day. Ran all the way home, got home, there was no one in. The front door was actually left open because it was an immediate, one of the gentlemen that was helping me get out of the car, he said, "What's your name?" And I said, "My sister's name." And that's because she actually just left to go out. And obviously I was in a lot of shock.
yeah,
Gave
yeah.
him where I lived and he went to the house and asked somebody to hold my artery where it was severed, to hold that area so that the blood, which was coming out profusely, to keep me alive. So somebody was holding it. Somebody went to their house, which a passerby went to their house. They had pots of on the floor trying to catch my blood into their pots in order to think that they can do blood transfusion if they need it, or they just thought quickly but they couldn't really use that blood because it was contaminated by the pot, but they were really trying to help. So the gentleman went to my house, told my parents, well, told my mum that and my sisters that something's really bad's happened. Can you get to the scene? And they were like, you've got blood all over you. I'm not sure who you are, why you're coming here. My family are all right. I know they're safe. And he goes, well, it's your daughter. And he mentioned the daughter's name. I go, no, I've already spoken to her, so that's not true. And so with that, she thought, well, I'm not going to go anywhere. So they had like a little conversation behind the door and he said, look, let's just go and just make sure everything's okay. So At that point, they went in their own car. He went back to the scene. And when they got halfway up the road, they said, "My goodness, it's Annette." Oh my goodness. They saw the car, they knew exactly. So they ran out towards the ambulance, which had already arrived. And I was in the ambulance, and my mum was screaming because I can hear her screaming, "It's my daughter." And she was holding on to me. She said, "Can you see?" And I said, "I can't see anything." And she goes, "Okay, we're just going to get you to hospital and see what happens from there." And in the ambulance, I could see my friend lying there, but she wasn't talking or anything. So that was a real difficult moment to see my friend lying there. I'm still awake, but she could be dead. So that was really shocking as well. And all the shock of actually having the car accident and my mum screaming, it was all a part of my trauma.
I can imagine you just don't
Mm.
even know where to focus, what
What
to
to do?
do. You just,
Yeah.
like, almost just numb to everything there, just
Yeah.
that fight or flight and or freezing there as well. How long
Yeah.
before the, ambulance arrived and took you to hospital?
I couldn't even tell you. All I know that they arrived and they were going, "It's okay, Annette, we're gonna save your life. It's all right. We're gonna get you in the ambulance and we're gonna so they have to have put on the blue light because I was losing so much blood.
Mm.
In fact, I lost 5.5 pints of blood. And we've only got, I think, about 8 pints, if I can
Yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah.
rightly, about 8 pints. So I was crucial. So they put the blue light on and got down to where we lived, to the hospital there. And so I couldn't tell you the time, and because I just didn't know. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I just can't believe this." By the time I was in the actual ambulance, apparently I fainted. And so when I got to the hospital, they had to resuscitate me.
Cool.
So at that point, I was just like, couldn't believe what had happened. My mum got there. My dad didn't know yet. My brother got down there, and my sister was with my mum. And the rest of my other siblings stayed at home to just make sure to tell everyone. And the other sister was already out at a party. So I was just totally shocked with what had happened, half conscious to know what was going on. And then I saw my sister, and I just was so happy to see them, even though growing up we didn't have a great relationship. I just was so happy to see family and know that I'm still alive, touch myself, think, "Oh my God, I'm still here."
Yeah. And how long were you in hospital for?
I would say a good 2 months.
Months.
Yeah, because the thing of it is I severed, my disc, in my back. I, lost the use of, like, walking. I couldn't see, had scarring to my face, 350 stitches to my face. And I was absolutely, like, at that point where I couldn't help myself anyway. If I was at home, I needed the help of the people in the hospital. But as I lied on the bed and they told my mum I had 24 hours to live, I could hear them talking and screaming, and I knew something was up, and I could feel my spirit leaving my body. And my sister walks in and she says to me, "Do you feel like you're going to die?" And I said, "That's a strange question to ask me." I think she was just terrified because she hadn't made it right
Yeah.
prior to this. Maybe I can't speak for her, but maybe she might have felt like, "Oh my God, don't die now. I haven't put it right or whatever." And I said, "I think I am going to." And I actually felt like I was going to die. I actually felt all the emotions. I don't know if you remember that film Ghost,
Yeah, of course.
with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I can actually tell you that same scenario happened in my life, where I was on the bed and I can see myself leaving the earth and I saw a bright light, something saying to me, "Do you want to go back?" And I said, "I really want to go back. I'm only 16 years old. I've just left
Yeah.
school. I really want to go back." And I was just like, "Just give me another chance," because I thought that going out that day, that's the reason why it happened. Because as my dad quote unquote said, "I'm rebellious." So I thought it's happened because of that. And they were so religious growing up. So I thought that's my comeuppance. So
Right.
I should have got out. I should have just been at church and stayed and not gone there. This would have happened. That was my thoughts. And I said, "God, just give me a second chance." I said, "I'm only 16. I just wanted to be with my friends." And I heard a voice saying, "Do you want to go back?" I said, "I really want to go back." It was a voice I've never, ever heard before, and I couldn't understand what was going on. But I was having a conversation, I believe, with God, and He was saying to me, "Do you want to go back?" And I was saying, "Yes, please give me a second chance. All that I've done in the past, I want it to be to one side, and I want to change my life completely." Then apparently they say that it's like I was starting to pick up. I started to get an answer and respond to questions. And they had the heart monitor on, and my heart was very low, but it started to raise up a little bit. And you could see it on the actual screen that it was raising, but I was in another place. So I couldn't see what was going on. But what I did know that I was like leaving the earth and I was still like there and I wasn't there kind of thing. You can understand it like that.
Yeah.
And so it was like the film Ghost. Yeah.
I had uh, a guy on the podcast, Canadian guy. He had a car accident, and he said the same sort of thing. It was almost like from I remember what he was saying, he was given the options, some
Oh,
sort of voice or whatever. It's like,
yeah.
do you want to go? And he's like, he's had like drug problems, he's made
Yeah.
bad choices, and he was only like young, and he's like, yeah, no, I've done it all wrong. I need to change my life,
Yeah.
take my chance.
Yeah, definitely.
How was your friend? What happened to your friend in the end?
So basically, with my friend, she had stitches to her face. She didn't have as much as me, but she was okay. I think she was just really shocked with what happened. And she felt really guilty. In fact, after she was released, she left the country. I didn't get to see her again because she felt as though what had happened, it was all her fault, even though it wasn't her fault. The person that hit and collided within our car was a drink driver.
What happened to him?
So he got a £30 fine. It was in the John Major days where, I don't know what went on, but in the actual court case, he got away with what he did. They actually tested our blood and found that I only had lemonade because they thought that maybe we swapped drivers or anything or you know, what was the situation. But while I was actually at the scene and the accident happened, you could imagine someone would have feel like, "Oh my God, I've just caused an accident." But because he was so drunk, he didn't know basically what he was saying. All I can hear him from the vehicle of the ambulance was that he was saying things like racial comments and it was just awful because I can hear him saying all this stuff, knowing that I'm on end of life. And with that, I was just like so shocked but I have forgiven him. That's the whole point about it. I have forgiven him for what happened because I'm still alive. And going back to the story about when I was on the operating theatre and they were saying to me, right, okay, she's going to die. And they said, we need to give her a blood transfusion. So we need somebody, because I was AB positive. So basically, they needed somebody to come and which was be my dad because we had the same blood type. And they called him and said, "Your daughter's been in an accident. We need you here with emergency. You've got to be here." So he came down and he was moaning and moaning, saying, "I've just left work." I think he was shocked. And he goes, I told her not to go out, and she's went out. I'm going back to work." Well, I was just like, when I heard this, I was absolutely horrified, knowing that we've come from a religious background and love is all that matters. I'm your daughter, I'm dying, and you're not going to give me blood. I was absolutely traumatized. And my brother was so upset and he just said, just leave. With that, my dad left. And that was the most shocking point because I thought I was going to die because I haven't got the blood. That's it. My life is over. So for me, it was a terrible moment, you know, being in the accident and then having to deal with my dad leaving.
Let me get this right. You're on the verge of dying. You've lost 5.5 points of blood. You're on it.
Yeah.
All right. If you're a car, you're going to the petrol station to put some petrol in, fill
Yeah.
up, right?
Yeah.
And your dad is annoyed that he has to go to the hospital to give blood to keep his daughter alive.
Yeah. Yeah. And that moment, I just couldn't believe it. I thought, I'm your daughter. And I don't know if he was shocked. I can't speak for him.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that I've got children, and I know for a fact that if
You're
they
there
need
before
blood,
anyone
I
has
will give
asked you.
them everything.
Of course you would. With sort of jumping forward there, what's the relationship with your father? Did you have a conversation? What was the outcome of something like that?
Well, I'm kind of like, because of what I went through, it
Mm.
totally changed my life because I am no longer that child growing up, which I told you I've been through so much traumas, stretch, unpredictable moments, neglect, all these things that I went through in my life, and seeing my dad and what he hadn't done for me was another kind of notch on what I had been through. So because I had been through all of this, I already gave my vow, if I come back, I'm going to be different to what I was before. So that meant that I had to change my life and try to be in a way of forgiving. That's how I saw it. Like, to forgive him for what's happened, understand if we have a conversation, what took place. We don't really have a conversation. It was more like, it was kind of like dismissed. You went out, this happened because you didn't listen. And basically, I don't want a conversation. I wasn't going to give you blood. He was very adamant. I wasn't going to give you blood. It was your learning curve. And for
You
me, I
died
was,
from that.
yeah, for me, I was very, very angry. I was
I'm not
so
surprised.
angry. I was angry, but I just felt as though, no love from him. And my mum was going, "You've got to give her blood. She's going to die." And he was like, "No, not doing it."
Thing is, right, okay, so what happened to Annette? Oh, yeah, she died, but do you know what? She learnt a lesson, though.
Yeah. And where does that stem from? Because I would have been able to come back anyway from it. So how would I be learning my lesson? Kind of speak. And I think that he was a very stubborn man, and he was also a religious man, and he wanted us to learn lessons. But I think as well he was shocked. I think as well he was in a place where he didn't understand what was going on. And, even though I can't speak for him, as I said, I just feel that he was always a stubborn person, but he loved to be somewhere in there,
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing. But he just wanted to teach me a lesson.
With like, as a therapist, I've had many clients who've had difficult relationships with their parents, and there's part of them that can't stand them. It's complicated, and there's parts that still love them, and they're often trying to figure out which one it should be. And I said, don't. It's okay to have mixed emotions towards that
Yeah.
person. You're not ever going to get to like it's this or that, so don't worry about it. There,
Yeah.
often with parents, I mean, some people are like going to cut a parent out of their life, fine, if that's what they want to do. And others want that parent in their life and will kind of get to the point of like, well, I've got a relationship, but it's a
Yes.
mixed one at
Yeah.
best.
I think for my dad, I learned to forgive. And now we have a great relationship. I never thought I would have a relationship with him ever again.
That's a lot of work you've put into
Oh,
yourself
yeah,
because
definitely. It took a long time because, like, I think mentally, I was just like, can't you just leave this earth? Like, you've just been awful to me. And why am I putting up with a dad like you? You've never been around in the beginning. And, now I need you. You're not here. But my mum, she was amazing. Her courage of having 5 children, and sadly now she has dementia, but she was amazing and always sticking up for me, always making sure, look, we're going to get you through it. If it wasn't for my mum, I don't even think as well I would be here. So I have to give her her credits that she was an amazing mum, and she is an amazing mum. And how she took me through that accident and said, "We're going to get better. We're going to get some like help for your scarring. It's going to be all right." Because I had so much scarring. I had skin grafting to my eye. I had skin off my leg to remake my face. I had half a lip. And seeing it now is an actual miracle of what they've done.
you look amazing. You
Thank
Yeah,
you.
whoever the surgeon was or whatever, I mean, they're pretty good at what they do because you couldn't would
Yes.
never have noticed what you've been through, not in a
Wow.
million years.
Wow, I was actually paralyzed on my left side of my face, and I couldn't open my eye or close my eye. My eye still getting to the place of closing it fully when I sleep.
Yeah.
I still have glass coming out of my face after 30 years. So it's forever still oozing out of my face. And I had so many plastic surgeries. I would say I had about 30 plastic surgeries in order to rebuild and restructure my face and my lip. And they took skin off behind my ear to remake my eye because there was a massive hole in my eye where the glass had ripped all my skin and stuff like that. So it was absolutely awful. After having all these surgeries and everything, they said, "There's nothing more we can do for you." And I thought, well, I'm still scarred and people are still looking at me in the street. And I'm still feeling that I'm going through this living trauma every day because people are walking up to me and asking me what's happened to your face, or they will stop.
Yeah. You're just reliving that trauma.
Isn't it?
It's like Groundhog Day of the like probably the
Exactly.
worst sort of circumstances you can have. And the thing is, you're so young, you got everything going for you, and
Yeah.
one day you wake up in the morning and it's a good day, you're going out with your friends, and the next day it's life changing.
Yeah.
It's just it's terrible. Hearing it, it's just like you can sort of like literally like listen to my body reacts, just feeling her. there as well.
Yeah.
We shot on anybody there.
Yeah.
His strength's unbelievable.
Uh,
Unbelievable.
Thank you so much. I think that going through the accident and then moving me from the hospital I was, having to blue light me to another hospital to have the surgery done. So I was in a hospital. They couldn't save my life there. They had to get a helicopter, take me to another hospital where they'd done all the work. And I woke up the next day and they said, "Would you like to see yourself for the first time?" And there was all mirrors around the room, and I couldn't believe it because when growing up, I was really conscious about my face. If I had a little spot, I would
Yeah.
deal with it straight away, kind of thing. And I looked at myself and I couldn't recognize. I said, "Who on earth is
Yeah.
that? Scars everywhere." I said, "My life is over. I'm not going to go out. I'm never going out again." But my family said my resilience and how I was, I took it really well. They said I really took it well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think some people just have that X factor. They have that something extra that a lot of people just don't have. Yeah.
Mm,
I think that you've just got that resilience,
thank you
and
much.
I think no matter what you would have gone through, as well as I know you would have
Mm,
overcome it. You would have got through it.
yeah.
'Cause a lot of people wouldn't have recovered from that physically, let
Yeah.
alone mentally.
Yeah. I think that the trauma that I have been through in the past prepared me for what I was going through here. So, trauma on top of trauma, I feel that so much was happening, and I thought, this is another thing. Have I got the shortest straw? So much is happening in my life, and I got up for one thing, and then I get kicked down on another
Yeah.
thing. Then I'm up and down and up and down, and it's just like a merry-go-round, and
Yeah.
I felt that I was on a merry-go-round so much that my healing was coming up and then going down, up and down, and I think it's a journey that I
Oh, yeah.
took in order, because I don't think that I was always where I am now, and I'm always gonna develop and get greater as I go along. But at the beginning, I don't think that when I look back at it now, I think, "Wow, did I actually go through all of that?" I just can't believe it, and I want to tell you something as well, is that after I had the surgery done, 30 years on, I didn't have enough money to basically pay for the surgery to see if I can get any outside help, because we had to go to court. And the guy that basically was collided with my car, my barrister didn't accept the money going into court. So because he didn't accept that money, we had to go to court. And when we got to court, he lost the case. So where I would have got significant money to get some scarring work done and and help myself, I couldn't do that because there was not enough money. In the end, I end up paying all the guy who was a drinker, and he was drinking on the day, paying all his costs for his car accident. So the car accident was our car accident. We had to pay everything back to him and pay all his court fees because my barrister did accept the money going into court. So all the court case fell apart.
What did your barrister say after he'd let you down? Like,
I was so angry. I said to him, "How on earth did you lose this case?" And I just left there angry. I was crying, unconsolable. I was just like, because I wanted to get, my face redone and stuff like that. And that was my main concern. I'm alive, but I just wanted more
you want your
treatment
life back.
done. I wanted my life back. And
Yeah.
in fact, it felt like stolen from the accident,
Yeah.
stolen
Oh,
from him, and he lost the case. And then I left that day from the courtroom. And 30 years on, which I would like to tell you about, is that 30 years on, I was sitting in my living room and I've got many streams of income and try to do different things and transformational speaker. I run a nursery and I
yeah.
sat at home and I was just like, I really want to get my scarring done. Saw this gentleman on ITV television and he's called Dr. Esso. And basically he does like laser treatment for people with significant scars. So I thought, well, I'm going to give him a ring. And my sister said, give him a ring and see if he will, see you. So I said, okay, all right. So I gave him a ring and he said, yeah, that'd be great. Love to meet you. And he goes, but one thing I need you to do, come down to me with no makeup.
Oh, that's a big ask.
For 30 years on, even though my scarring was still there, no makeup, you've got to get on the train. I was going,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, because I don't like people driving me. I like to drive myself because I
Yeah.
think of the car accident. I get very protective of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I like to be in control of the vehicle, even though I was on control of the day. That's the way it is for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And as I got on the train, I had no makeup and I done after 30 years, never been on a train, got onto this train, met him in Wimbledon, got into his office, knocked on the door, and he gave me this beautiful smile. And put my head down and he said, "Why are you putting your head down? Look at me." He said, "You're beautiful." And I said, "Never heard that before." So I said, "Am I?" And he goes, "You're really beautiful." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I didn't know how to take that. So he talked to me, said, "We can do this and we can do that and everything." And he said, "I'll let you know the price." Then a couple of weeks later, he gave me the price. It was a real shock of how much it was. It was more than my budget could do. And I was like, right, well, I'm going to have to get like save up for that to get that work done. But in the meantime, I can maybe have facials with him and then prepare to have the surgery done. And then it was like about 2 or 3 weeks later, I got a call from him. I was actually working and he said, "I just would like to say to you, and you came into my office and with all that you've been through, we really want to help you." And so it's an Esho clinic in Wimbledon, as I said, and he basically said to me, "We're willing to give you some of the surgery free of charge."
It's amazing.
I just teared up. We've
I
actually got a
can
video of it
imagine.
on. I was just so happy. I was just like, "Oh my goodness," because it was so expensive. I didn't have all the funds. I was trying to get everything together, and I was so excited to hear this information. I just couldn't believe it. And up to today's date, they're still helping me. We've got a lady as well called Annalise, and she is also helping with Dr. Esso in laser treatment. I actually had a scar from my nose right round to my ear. That's totally gone. My artery under here, which was severed, that's so much better. And the impact was more on my face. So they're now still helping me. They've done an amazing job. They've been so
Yeah,
kind.
yeah.
And that's a shout out to them as well for all the kind and things
Sweet.
they've done to help me. Yeah.
I think you would do a bit of good luck, don't you?
Yes,
Level it out a
definitely.
little bit, you know.
Yeah, definitely
But
level it out a little bit. Yeah,
it's a start,
definitely.
you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
And so you said about going all the way back there that you wanted to change your life. So the thing is, a lot of people, they might be like, "I want to change my life," and then they come out of they're in hospital, and then they come out of hospital, and then they've got almost a lifetime of dealing and recovering and stuff. So
Yeah,
how on earth are you going to like change your life and build a career and a life for yourself? So
yeah.
how on earth did you do that, and what did you go on to do?
Right. So basically, after I had been through the accident, was having counselling. Counselling, a counsellor said to me, "Just get over it." And I was like, "You can't just get
It's
over it. How?"
it's like
Oh,
telling somebody in a coma to just wake up.
just wake up. And I thought, well, that wasn't a great counsel session. I thought, well, that was just awful. And I left feeling a failure. I was like, get over it. Maybe I'm just being silly about it. And then something said to me, you can't have a counsellor. You need to heal within. So before anyone can counsel you, you need to go back and see what all the issues of what's actually how you're feeling and everything. And my emotions weren't intact. I needed time to actually like understand what's happened, and what I had been through. So I had some time out. And then I decided that, okay, they can't counsel me, but I need counseling myself. How am I going to get that? I still need counselling, so what am I gonna do? I stopped going to church, so I stopped the church altogether, stopped going there, and then my dad basically said, "Right, you're gonna have to move out." So I had to move out of home because I didn't listen. He was very upset with me. So just coming after the car accident, I left home, then started to find my feet in the respect of looking at different counselling courses I can do. So I went to a college and I started learning all about counselling. And do you know, in that time, I was getting counselled myself.
I do, I do. As a therapist, you end up getting your own therapy along the way. And that's why a lot of people become therapists
Yeah.
because they can help heal their self while
Yeah.
helping others there. So I'm not surprised. And
Yeah.
it's a good thing that you did that. It's a great move.
Yeah, it wasn't something that I prepared.
No.
Just it's like I fell into this thing thinking I'm going to help other people,
Yeah.
but then I was getting counselled myself, and I thought, wow, I was able to unravel
Yeah.
all the things that I had went through in order to also help people who had been through car accidents and stuff like that, which was an amazing achievement because I
Yeah.
came out um basically passing all of my academics and my education, and I went on to be doing a degree and a bachelor's, and now I'm a qualified counsellor and also an author and a transformational speaker. So out of that darkness came light.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a long time to get to that point to accept it.
Yeah.
I think it was a Jordan Peterson video, whereas no matter what, out of the worst things, there can be something positive, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, fortunately, that is the case, and I had to accept that I was wrong. But for me, what you've overcome and got through and had to deal with and manage it, it's not like yeah, that was a real bad day.
Yeah.
That real bad days come with you
Yeah.
and with you every day. Your strength it's unbelievable.
Thank you so much. And it's just something I like to say as well, is that it's not over yet. My journey still continues. I
Yeah,
still have them days when I look in the mirror and I can see the scarring, and in cold days my scarring comes out a lot more, and days where I can see the trauma of the accident, or when I'm driving my car, I might see flashbacks from the accident. So it's not all
no,
roses. But what I will say to anybody listening today
yeah,
is that out of something that you go through, there is a healing process, and it does happen, and in its own time. Don't push it. Just go with it. It's a journey. Life is a process. And when we go through that process, some amazing things can happen. And out of it, I believe that's why we are doing this podcast today. And I believe that I'm here for a reason.
yeah. And your story is just so inspiring. It's
Thank,
just it just is. I mean, the courage there, and you wouldn't wish that on anybody, especially somebody as lovely as yourself.
thank you so much.
And the thing is, for you to go on to do what you've done and achieved while still overcoming, and it's a journey, there's no
Yes.
destination.
No.
One way or the other, you'll be there forever,
Yes.
whether it's just dealing with the PTSD side of it there or whatever it is there as well.
Yes.
To do what you do, maximize everything you've got, and everything that you do is to help other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that for me, that I've always been, from the accident, I've always been that way, and I can't switch it off. I can't switch off what I've been through, and I'm
Yeah.
forever trying to help people. Somebody said to me one day, "You can't pour from an empty jug." And I thought, well, what's pour from an empty jug? I just want to give and give and give of myself.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel as though I need to slow down and get that healing also for myself,
Yeah.
and have a place where I can have that.
Yeah, and it's something I say to like clients, that you got ones that want to rescue people and they want to be there for everybody. And I'm like, yeah, if you put yourself last, you will feel
Yeah.
like you're coming last. And if you want to help people be the best version of yourself, you've got to give yourself that self care, that self love
Yes.
to look after yourself, the strength and energy to be able to help other people out there as well. That's why,
Yes.
as you know, as a therapist, you need to make sure you take those breaks. You have your supervision there. You make sure you're prepared and stuff as
Yeah.
well. So
Yes.
I think it's great. Just finally, what's the future looking like for yourself then? What's next?
Yeah. I smile because I'm just firstly glad that I'm still alive and I've got that option to do different things. And so, the transformational side, I'm an author, as I said, I'm an upcoming author. So I'm writing my first book, which is really exciting. I'm nearly finished on that. So
Yeah,
I'm actually getting out there and giving that story of my life story so that I can
brilliant.
help other people through their process, or support their journey too. By hearing my story might help someone else.
Oh,
And
without
so,
doubt.
yeah, and so that's one of my places of avenue. And to also go on stage and speak my truth of all the things that I've been through, and that although I have been through all these life's ups and downs, that I believe that if you just go on that journey of process, that you can make it. But you've got to be wanting it. You've got to be hungry enough to say, I want this. And that's where I'm at right now. So I'm in a lovely place right now within myself, and learning about self love and actually doing something for myself. And today, this is something for myself, coming out of my comfort zone and actually stepping on camera with yourself is something that I have never done before, and that I'm doing that now, and actually coming out of my comfort zone.
You wouldn't notice. You wouldn't notice
Wow.
you coming out your comfort zone. You think you've done 1,000 interviews.
Thank you so much. It's a lovely day. Thank you. I just like, at the end of the day, I'm just so happy that we've been able to speak, and talk about the car accident, because it's taking me back. In also taking me back, it's also a place of healing. So it makes me remember some of the things that I went through. So I'm forever healing. I'm
Yeah.
forever growing. I'm forever learning. And yeah, so it's amazing.
Yeah, and with yourself gonna go and do the podcast there, you find yourself, the more you tell the story, the more comfortable that you get with that,
Yes.
and it becomes sort of almost like second nature there as well, and
Yeah.
that in itself, like with writing the book, helps you process and helps you heal and helps you move on there as
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you on stage talking to people, anyone that's come to listen to you are going to be glued to your story. They will get, there's so many different things they can take away. They're going to feel inspired just by listening to you before they've even heard your story there as well. And the fact of what you've overcome, which is just so much for anybody to be where you are now with the belief system mindset that you've got and the strength and all the things that you do and going on to literally thrive there as well. It makes such a difference to so many people's lives there as well. So everything you're
Yeah.
doing is only going to help people. It's been an
Thank you
absolute
so much.
pleasure having
Thank
you
you.
on.
It's been a pleasure being with you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.